Good morning. We are crocheting along, and I've stuck some lovely fluffy feather wool in there, and I'm on a fluffy row, and our pinks and purples and things are coming along really nicely. Um, I know that Rebecca, you were putting a few more rows on your hug yesterday, so send us some pictures. That would be lovely. And yeah, one, two, three. And just coming along. Um, so the other thing I did yesterday was I painted. So I put that video up too. So feel free to have a look because Joe Jandal creates all kinds of things. Um, yeah. So I'm just enjoying the peace and calm of crocheting and calming down. So yeah, as guessed, we are in level 4 much longer than our first three days would have indicated. It's not surprising. Anyway, and, and today is a really good indoor day, and the weather's supposed to really pack up soon, and we're supposed to get some really decent rain. So, yay rain, and yay for crocheting, and I'm all good for being indoors. Yeah. So the dog and my husband have headed out for a quick stroll so she doesn't go completely insane, and it's just a really easy day in our house. Um, yeah. So I've scooted along that row, and we are heading, I think, into a white row next. And one, two, three. So, where I obtained my wool. My first bag of wool came from my mum as she tried to encourage us um, to do our own handcrafts and to not be so judgmental about her handcrafts. And I have to say, it took me quite a number of years to stop being so mean to her about the amount of wool she had accumulated. It never occurred to me that it was almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's an addiction that is extremely hard to break, and for some reason, um, people take great delight in giving you their bits that they can't use, haven't used, have bought, intending to do a pattern and got halfway through and never finished, have for all kinds of reasons have their own stashes that they want to pass on. They've had parents, grandparents that have got too sick to be able to work with the wool that they have. One particular example of that was I have a lovely friend whose grandma got really sick, and her grandma used to make baby clothes for the Premier unit in Whangarei, I think, or anyway for Prem babies, and she got too frail to stitch her own baby clothes together, stitch the wool, and she got to the point where she couldn't work out how to tie ends together, and so she was just knitting one ball of wool, and and the family, with her permission, gave it to me, and I made her own special hug rugs for her to snuggle up to and get the benefit of the beautiful work that she'd been doing for babies for so long. So at the end of her life, she was able to have something back that was hers and she got comfort from. And it was probably one of the most special things I've ever done, and it was an absolute privilege to do that. So and from there, that group of wool sort of expanded, and I have a girlfriend that I went to school with. She got a big bag of all kinds of wool that she didn't use, so she gave it to me, and so that turned my single bag into probably 7 or 8 bags, and we graduated to boxes. And then I discovered that you could get some really good stuff in the second-hand shops if you were fast. So then I started buying wool from second-hand shops and ended up buying a great big box of fluffy stuff from the SPCA shop one day for $1 a ball, and I was just rapt. And my stash then expanded to a few more of those big click-clack boxes that can slide under your bed. And then I discovered what an absolute pleasure it is to unpull scarves in particular. And I started choosing scarves in second-hand shops that were $1, $2, $3, $4, and I'm pulling them and adding them to my work, and I got all kinds of yarns and wools and all kinds of exciting things to actually work with, and my wool stash expanded again. And then we got some shirts printed for our business, and that particular place has a wool shop with it, and they have a stack of wool out the back that they actually give to people who make things for people in need. And I had been putting together 9 hugs for my girlfriend and all of her kids. They come to her in need, and I made them all hugs, and it was an absolute pleasure to be able to do that and to know that I made a difference for those beautiful kids and for my dear friend. And then I just went crazy making hugs and finding people that I could give them to, and then finding people who wouldn't actually take them from me, that I had to sell them to them. I was quite shocked that I had to sell them to them. Anyway, it just sort of like grew like Topsy, and as much as I can make them is as much as I can pass them out into the world. I've done hugs for great big men, like I said before, 6 foot more, man-size hugs. I've made hugs for people on the spectrum, with autism that need akin to a weighted blanket. They get a lot of comfort from the weight, and so that's what I use my really big crochet hook for, making those big weighted ones. Yeah. And they're not extra weight, they're just heavy weighted wool and crocheting, and it makes a really big difference. And then, COVID happened last year, and suddenly we've got babies popping up everywhere, and I've just had the absolute pleasure of making baby blankets, baby hugs, and knee rugs for mums for breastfeeding at night, and just hugs in general for when you just need a hug. And yeah, so that's how I got started and how my wool collection keeps expanding. And I can no longer give my mum a hard time about having a room that is entirely set away for wool supplies, because I have my own, and I'm actually very sorry that I was so mean about it for so long. I think I was just terrified I would catch the bug, but it turns out being addicted to wool and yarn isn't such a bad thing, and in fact brings a amount of joy to so many other people that it's worth the addiction. Yeah. Anyway, we are heading round our white row very nicely, and it's growing quite nicely. Have a good day. Enjoy your Saturday, and yeah, don't worry about level 4. It is what it is, and the sooner we all get our vaccinations, the better. And yeah, I love you all, no matter what your opinion is on vaccinations. Yeah. Bye.